Good afternoon from the Circus Sports at the Mint Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Ross Johnston. Week 15, the NFL wrapped up last night with the Pittsburgh Steelers beating the Dolphins 28-15. Aaron Rodgers went 23 of 27 for 224 yards and 2 touchdowns to DK Metcalf and Marquez Valdez-Scantling. The Miami Dolphins have now been eliminated from playoff contention. In NFL news today, the Jets agreed to mutually part ways with wide receiver Allen Lazard, who was in his 3rd season in New York. Lazard will now be available on waivers. Also, in one piece of college football news, Texas quarterback Arch Manning will be returning next year to play with the Longhorns. Vol basketball is the biggest game in college hoops tonight as they host the number 11 Louisville Cardinals in Knoxville with tip set for 6 p.m. Central. Louisville comes into the game at 9-1, and the Vols come in having dropped their last 3 games to Syracuse, Kansas, and Illinois. You can listen to Vol Network's coverage of the game right here on The Zone starting at 7 as we will join in progress after Mac Talk with Coach Mac and Rhett Bryan. For all your foundation repair, waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once in your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Door and broadcasting live from the 104.5 The Zone Circus Sports Studio. Kentucky's largest sports book can now be found at Circus Sports at Kentucky Downs, and it's a loaded show today.
Ooh, exhausting.
It may be. We got Coach Mack at 1:20, and we got Adam Schefter at 2:30, ESPN Insider. And we're going to talk everything about, Callahan, Cam Ward, to the coaching search, to the draft, pick his brain on everything to get you guys some information. We're excited about that.
No doubt.
A privilege. It's a privilege.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Also, congratulations to our one and only Ramon Foster here to get an extension.
Multi-year extension.
Oh, yeah, multi-year extension.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first time I saw that.
Yeah.
No, for anybody everybody that posted it like they were signing like he was.
Yeah, I loved it because it was like a Titan sign-in post and everything.
Yeah.
And then he's getting
a Steeler.
Steeler signing. Congratulations to Ramon. Great teammate. Deserves it. Hard, man. Talk about, I was going to call Schefter the hardest working person in sports, but I may have to call Ramon and the hardest working person in sports with everything that he does.
Oh, man. No way, no how. More power to you, buddy.
Yeah. He does a lot more than I could probably do.
Yeah.
I mean, and on top of that,
I like coaches. My weekends.
Yeah, he also coaches. So on top of all that, hardest working man, at least in Nashville sports media, maybe the world.
Sure.
Maybe the world.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Lot to get to today, and I guess let's start with Arden Key and Denard Wilson's comments. So, Arden Key, after the game, had some very, pointed things to say about defensive adjustments. Now, for those who may not have paid attention to the game, 3 safeties went down, and then Cedric Gray also went down.
Yeah.
And listen, the San Francisco offense kind of outmatched and outplayed a little bit the Titans defense. What shouldn't be surprising to really anybody. The defensive line played really well, and I think the defensive backfield probably played a little bit above their head, I feel like.
Well, we could say the D-line. I want to say the not pass rushers. Ends were okay. Inside was phenomenal.
Yeah.
With Jeff and Sweat and, Day. And I think, it just wears on guys. They really had no shot. They were playing with third-string guys who were solid players. On most teams, they would be on the practice squad. And they gave a great effort out there, but I'm sure Key was frustrated. He's playing one of his former teams, too, by the way.
Yep.
And he made a comment that they didn't make any adjustments, and maybe that's because of who was actually out there.
So let's start with what Arden Key had to say about the second half defensive adjustments.
We got to adjust. Shit, we don't adjust enough over here. We don't adjust. That's what it is. We don't adjust.
In what way? Like, you mean X and O's?
X and O's. We don't adjust. So are you saying like that's something that, the coaches need to do better, or are you saying we all need to do better on that?
Okay, so let's put the defensive player speak on. What is he really saying here? Is he really saying that he didn't feel the coaching staff adjusted? Because he kind of says we need to be better and we need to adjust. But is that what because he's asked specifically about it?
He did say it like 4 times.
Yeah, I mean, he said adjust like 50 times. But, I mean, what do you think the point he's really trying to get across? Or is this just a point of frustration and him trying to find answers?
I really don't. He's a character when you hear, most guys talk about him. So in a good light. So it's the first time I've heard him say that. He said he's kind of done this every year. I guess he's been here. I don't recall that. But
well, he's always said something about a coach. Remember when Brian Callahan came in and they said that they correct mistakes on the defensive side of the ball, and he was kind of saying they never corrected mistakes with Vrabel. He's kind of said that kind of stuff.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Gotcha.
I really don't. You could talk about halftime adjustments, or you can talk. Now they do in-game adjustments because they have the pads on the sideline, and maybe he felt like he should do something else. But I was a guy that's always trying to stay in my lane. And when I say that,
well, it's funny you say that. But
I'm
you'll
talking
see
about like I can't say what the D line should be doing.
Right.
I mean, I'm not going to do that because I'm not in their meetings. I'm not, I know the game plan. And, hey, man, when you start, losing and the team is moving the ball relentlessly like they did, you feel like we should have made adjustments at some point in time, whether that was in the secondary, in the D-line. So it's just kind of hard for me to say, at some point you have to realize, and this is what happens with veteran players. When you've been in the league and you've seen a lot, like he have seen that some coaches make a lot of adjustments, some coaches make little adjustments, some don't do it all. I mean, so they kind of stick with it because it doesn't matter in this game. I don't know if they would have made adjustments, not would it really mattered. You got some players out here who doesn't know maybe the adjustment to what they're doing because they haven't been playing. So you got to take the whole picture and keep that in mind. And I believe he didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Like, hey, the coach is saying, hey, man, we can't, isolate a guy like this in this kind of situation. We definitely going to be in trouble. We want them to earn it, make them run down the field on us and hope they make a mistake instead of saying, hey, we make this adjustment. There's a root cause to maybe if we do this may happen.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I say stay in your lane a little bit on, where you should make adjustments. Worry about what you should have made adjustments with your D-line.
Yeah.
And maybe that's probably how I would look at it, and you all come together. But I don't know if they could have made any adjustment that was going to be any different. But guess what? He can say is, well, if we would have made an adjustment, then it wouldn't hurt.
Yeah.
It wouldn't hurt anything.
Well, they were one injury away in the safety position from Kyer Elam playing safety.
Yeah.
That's what Denard Wilson said today.
That's a tough deal. I've never seen. I said I've never seen 3 safeties go down in a game.
I mean, that is insane.
In that quick of a span,
yeah,
too.
in that sharp.
And it was like bam, bam, bam almost. Now, play what Denard Wilson said, because it's funny that you say stay in your lane, because it's pretty much what Denard Wilson said today in a press conference. Here's what Denard had to say.
We adjust the whole time. Sometimes you look at it in the second half. I mean, what other adjustments do we need? We lost a one-on-one ball in man coverage, and we missed a tackle, and we didn't hinge on cover 2. I don't know what else adjustments that we needed. At this point, everybody has an opinion, about everything. Everybody needs to stay in their lane and focus on what they need to focus on.
I did not even hear this.
That's why I laughed when you said it, because I was like, well, you'll find out why that's pretty funny.
When was this interview?
Just a few, I guess 11:30.
I think. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't. Yeah, I don't listen to their pressers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that just kind of rule of thumb for players, really. Because guess what? After a game, you are piping mad. I mean, you're really upset, especially, when you defensively, you knew we never stopped them. That's
right.
It's like, hey, man, we were just that bad.
Because
are
people
they that
were
good?
in
you
position.
go, they're not that good.
Yeah, because you have these corners that, I mean, you got a 6-round rookie is arguably your best corner out there. Then he played outside, then had to get moved inside.
Yeah,
you lost Kevin Winston, Mike Brown, and oh my gosh, who's the third safety I'm blanking on? Xavier Woods. Yeah, because
Brooks was the one that came
and then
in.
you put Kendall Brooks back in the safety, who's got Terminator arm out there.
Yeah. And so that's what I'm saying. You got to look at the bigger picture. Like,
right.
Well, I mean, man, we're playing out here with the last end of the roster type players, and they're doing a good job, but we don't want to make it much more stressful than it is already for them. And if we lose some guys, and they were missing tackles, one-arm dude, man.
Yeah, that's what I was about
Brooks,
to say.
He was out there, still trying to bring the hammer, and he couldn't even look like wrap up.
Yeah.
So I
Cedric Gray didn't even wrap up on a few plays, but there's a lot of plays where they're just bouncing. And listen, Christian McCaffrey, before this game, before this week of the NFL, had the most broken tackles in the NFL. And so defenders tend to bounce off of them. But that's why you got to be sound in your technique. And it's like these players were in position to make plays, to Denard Wilson's point, but you got missed tackles.
Well, in that one play that Cedric missed on with McCaffrey in the flat, he had to range a long way to get there. There's not many dudes making that tackle anyways. Not trying to excuse it, but, that's a tough assignment for anybody.
Can you open up the full playbook, too, when you have three safeties go down and Kendall Brooks is playing safety? I'm asking because I just generally don't know.
And that is a great point. Most of those guys probably just know base concepts. They probably got no reps in practice. So, I mean, that's what I said. Look at the bigger picture here. And, it just in competition after the game, you're frustrated, you upset. Remember, I've always said this. They need to give the players more time because there isn't any emotional attachment to the game to play at this high level. And then to think, I don't know what time frame is. I want to add extra 20 minutes to it if it was me. To bring yourself back down from that emotional high that you have to play with to regular, society level, let's say. And when you're interviewing and that way you've kind of got your adrenaline down and everything else. So just, but that's the way, it is. And sometimes you catch players still kind of a little bit in that mode.
Yeah.
And it's tough. It was something that I would battle with, every time after a game. So I would make sure I get in the cold tub. And that would just freeze me up. And then when I get out of there, I'm like, oh, man, I'm thinking about cold.
Oh, well, someone just beat me to it, but I just looked it up. But Caribbean Daniel beat me to it. Kendall Brooks had one defensive snap this season before the game on Sunday.
He's not thinking about the whole picture, but he's thinking about, hey, man, we should have made some adjustments. We should have won. I mean, man, guys are competitive.
Yeah.
To a point where it's really unhealthy, to be honest. But that's the way it is. And, I just think that's where he just kind of got caught up in that.
That's what I kind of also said, some of that's probably just frustrations and looking for answers.
But I don't know if I played in the game. I'm sure I have where we were never able to stop the offense.
Yeah.
I can't recall it.
I'm sure I would have to think that you would at least forced a punt in every game at some point.
After a game, I'm not talking about we should have made adjustments.
Yeah.
Even at that low point of, man, dang, we couldn't even stop them at
all. Because I'm looking at the edge rushers and thinking, well, some of this is a little bit on you for not getting pressure.
See, that's why I think Arden's comments are coming from, and it's what Blaine was, what y'all have kind of tied it into is I think Arden was probably like, why did we not dial up more pressure and blitz packages to get after this guy?
And you want to put him in one-on-ones.
Yeah, and you're putting guys in different assignments that they are not used to doing because they haven't played a lot of snaps. So.
I mean, even Kyer Elam hasn't played a lot of snaps in this particular defense with this particular team, and then he got thrusted.
He's been on the team like 2 weeks.
2 weeks, and he didn't I don't even think he played last week.
That's really 6 practices.
Yeah, and so he hasn't had a lot of connection out here.
Do you know how many snaps he played? He was out there most of the time.
I didn't even realize that was him out there till the announcer said it.
Kyer Elam played 24 defensive snaps on Sunday, and he hadn't played. He's only played 3 since signing with the Tennessee Titans before that. I believe he's been here since week 13, maybe
3 weeks.
Yeah, so that would be 3 before then. His first week leading into that game, and so now he's playing outside because I'm assuming this is an assumption if Kevin Winston hadn't got hurt, we probably wouldn't have even seen Kyer Elam on the field defensively because he only got on the field because Kevin Winston got hurt, who's been playing nickel. They moved Marcus Harrison to nickel, put Kyer Elam outside, and then they had Kendall Brooks at safety. Like, that's a lot of moving parts for a defense. And I know the stats aren't going to tell you a lot, about how good of a job Denard Wilson's doing given the circumstances. That's why I was a little taken aback by the comments from Arden Key and just wonder how much of that is the truth bubbling up to the surface of how he really feels, how much of that is just him not having answers. I don't know.
It could have been, somebody in the chat said, well, maybe he wanted him to dial up some stuff where he could get some sacks.
Yeah,
so
maybe.
I don't know. And that could be part of it, but that one there, man. Those are conversations that you have with the DC when you have that relationship, in the meetings and, about adjustments and things of that nature. So I don't know what should have been an adjustment or not. To be honest, if I would have been to DC, they would have been mad at me because I probably would have ran cover 2 the entire time.
Yeah.
The entire time, man. What we going to do, man? I'm not going to put these guys, I'm going to make them earn it, and hopefully we can make them make a mistake with our front.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I would have approached it after the eyes went down. I was like, oh, my. So that's, I don't know. I think we make him much about nothing. I think he's just frustrated.
Yeah.
Hey, he didn't get any sacks. We didn't stop him on defense. He considers himself probably one of the leaders on the team, being a vet. So, that's happened.
Let's go to Luke real quick in Nashville. Luke, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. Love the show. Just wanted to ask you, Blaine, how would, at this point, there's not a lot of games left. They're obviously underperforming from the hopes that they had. But what can they do to keep morale going, keep the strength going? I mean, I am glad they kept Big Jeff for that leadership to kind of set an example, but both sides of the ball seem to be struggling, and I'm not worried about Cam's attitude. I am worried about his development and protection and everything, but at this point in the season when everything kind of looks really as bad as it can get, what are the guys doing to stay focused and just improve? All right, thanks, guys. Bye.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's a really good question. But I mean, to me, I'm gonna just say that was easy for me. Now, some guys are different. Now, it has to do with your motive for why you play the sport. I played the sport because I loved it. So every time I touched foot on that field, there was going to be nothing that I wasn't going to like as an individual. That just wasn't going to happen. Effort was never going to be. It's just so you got to have some pride, not only for yourself, but the name on the back of your jersey and the name on the front of your jersey. And if you don't have that kind of pride, I don't want you to be my teammate.
Right.
So that shouldn't even be part of this discussion. Everybody, let's just think about your job. Everybody has a job. You got to go daily. Oh, it's rough. And nobody want to hear all that. And when you're a professional athlete, you're getting paid a lot of money to do something that is a sport. So if you can't have pride, regardless, the morale could be down. But when it comes game day, hey, all bets are off, and you're out here going to have some fun. And you're going to run around here and make some plays and do your job. Because the eye in the sky don't lie. And guess what? You are not just playing for the Tennessee Titans. You're playing for all the other 31 teams out there, just in case you get traded or cut. So there's a lot at stake here. Especially if you see, let me see who this player really is when they don't have a winning team. And if he's loafing at any point in time, guess what? That's a key to me. If I'm on another team, guess what? We probably don't want that guy. We don't want that guy. He's playing as an individual now. He knows that the eye in the sky is watching all over the league. So for me, that was pretty easy when I was on a 2-14 team. So that was that's a little nerve for me. Like, man, I'd get really upset if guys aren't playing hard. Like, how the heck is that?
Yeah,
we stink. Your competitive nature in this whole game of playing football in the National Football League is, man, you better come out with your A game or you liable to get embarrassed. Like, seriously. And I don't think they have any of those issues with the team. So.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Yeah. And you know who else we can ask that question to? Yeah. We can ask Coach Mack coming up next for a little bit of Mac Talk here on 104.5 The Zone.
And naturally, we're in the holiday spirit. The weather tells you it's on its way. And guess what? The holiday parties are on this way, but also the wait around the midsection. If you enjoy those holiday parties a little too much, you better watch out for the weight gain. And the approach to weight loss at Edge Peptide and Hormone Therapy is a little bit different. You make sure all of your patients have extensive lab work and face-to-face conversations in office with our nurse practitioner to create a customized treatment plan tailored to your specific needs. Edge also walks you through the process, guiding your treatment, answering questions, and supporting you along the way. You also get to enjoy access to their in-body scanner to track weight loss and make sure you're maintaining your muscle mass, as well as lowering your A1C, keeping your cravings in check, prioritizing your protein, and having someone guide your journey from start to finish. So call the team at Edge Peptide for all your wellness questions at, of course, 615-724-1878. That's 724-1878 or edgepeptide.com.
Let's face it, buying a vehicle should be straightforward and stress-free, and that's exactly how Two Rivers Ford has been doing business for decades. This locally owned dealership has a non-commissioned sales team whose only focus is to find you the right vehicle at the right price without the pressure. So you'll actually have a fun car buying experience. Great prices, easy financing, and a non-commissioned sales team. Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer.
I'll be home for Christmas. You can count on me. I'll be home for Christmas. If only in my dreams.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Door. And it's Tuesday. That means we're joined by Coach Mack of Titans Radio for his weekly Mack Attack, brought to you by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. And Coach Mack, have you ever coached a game where 3 players at the same position went down with injury? And what do you do in those situations other than it's just next man up? But what do you do from a defensive coordinator standpoint to help maybe that kind of transition and that kind of injury?
Well, I mean, that's to answer your first question. In the 600 plus games that I've been involved in as a coach, that's never happened. No, not in a regular season game to lose 3 at one position as fast as they did, and that was not an ideal team to lose your safeties in, because I mean they put a lot of that offense historically through the years has put a lot of stress on your coverage units, and for that to happen in that ball game, and you only get so many that are active on game day, and especially with the way as thin as this roster is, you've got some guys that were in the ball game there that had only been there, not even for 2 weeks. That was a lot to ask. And so basically you just try to hold serve as much as you can.
The run game has been a hot topic. What have you seen from the run game for them to be able to find so much success, at least the last 2 weeks, where the running backs are averaging 5.6 yards per carry versus the Browns and 8.1 yards per carry versus the 49ers?
The offensive line and the tight ends and the blocking units doing a great job. I mean, there's hats on hats. When you go back and you watch the tape of it, I mean, it's not – and there's – anytime in the National Football League, if you've got clear view runs, which means you're unimpeded until you get to that second level, you're getting hats on hats. They're doing a really good job the last few weeks, at the edges and especially in that center guard triangle, because they're doing a good job of identifying, climbing up, getting people blocked, and then the running backs. You've got 2 running backs that if they got any kind of clear view, they can hit it pretty good. So but it just goes on. It goes to the fact that just doing your job on a consistent basis, then you can make things work, and that's what they've done in the running game for 2 weeks.
What did you see from the good and the bad of Cam Ward against the 49ers on Sunday?
Needs to be more accurate. But he's gotten comfortable being a quarterback in the National Football League. But look, every week is going to be something new for him. Every week. I mean, there was a new this week. So I mean, it's going to be a linear progression with him throughout the end of this season and then going into next season. But he and all of those rookies that have contributed this year, which is quite a bit, they've had to grow up pretty quick in some pretty adverse situations. So, I mean, I've got no problem with his development and what he's doing, but there's aspects of his game that he needs to work on, and that to me, that never changes. There's not a quarterback in the league that doesn't have to continue to work on his craft week in and week out in the National Football League.
We're on with Coach Mack for his weekly Mack Attack, brought to you by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer.
Well, Coach Mack, man, I'm glad you said that, because every week Cam Ward is different types of throws, but misses a guy wide open. You say those are the throws you got to make. And every game is one throw. I'm just wondering, do you see anything that he's doing wrong, mechanically on the throws? Now, I know sometimes he's getting hit, but the guy's wide open. You got to find a way to step into the throw, take the big hit, and put it on the numbers. I just wonder, calling the games, do you see anything that you say, man, if he would just do this, I think it would help him? Because that's all I can really complain about what he's doing this season. And so it's kind of becoming glaring that he'll miss a throw. It could be a short throw. It could be a deep throw. It's not all the same. They're all different.
It's all about taking your time, I think. I mean, again, I'm not a quarterback guru. Mm-hmm. I've defended a lot of quarterbacks. I've watched a lot of them. And most of the ones that look very comfortable with every throw, they normally take their time. They don't rush it. And sometimes, somebody is wide open. you don't rush your throw. You just go ahead and let it be natural and flow through. But that's something that he needs to work on. He really does, because they schemed some people open. Now, he's hit a lot of them, and he's made some throws that you say, wow.
Wow, no
that's
doubt.
Really a good throw.
The Gunnar Hill in this game.
Oh, no, he every game he does that.
Yeah.
I mean, he throws some missiles in every game. But I would just say, and again, you're talking about a young quarterback, and the word that I would say that you need is just consistency.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So that's what you're telling them in meeting. Say, man, because as a fan and we're just watching it, we go, dang, man, how does he make this throw, which is much more difficult, and then this throw he doesn't? So when you're sitting down with your quarterback, what are you saying? Just try to be consistent. I mean, what are you saying to him? Like, hey, this is what you're thinking here, or what's going on? Like, how do you make that kind of correction?
There's really no thinking with those throws. The ones that he missed, the one he missed in that game last weekend, I mean, it was wide open. Just take your time and hit it.
Okay.
That's it. Don't make any more of one throw than it is. Just take your time, execute it, move on.
All right. Well, this is another thing that kind of perturbs me when I'm watching the team play. I am sick and tired of Jeffrey Simmons getting called for this field goal over the center. Kind of explain the rule to me, because I felt like he didn't do anything the last two times. So maybe I don't understand the rule. Do you know the rule and kind of explain it to us?
I can't.
So basically you said it's not a penalty.
No, it's not a penalty. Bones Fossil lost his mind after that. I mean, they finally had to come get him and pull him off the field, because he was up and down. Anybody that had an official's hat or a shirt on, he was after him. And so I can't justify that. Here's what I will say: bad call, bad officiating.
So, okay. Now, is this the Titans' problem? Because I feel like we get the short end of the stick when it comes to the refereeing, or do we always just get the worst crews because of where we're at record-wise? I mean, what's going on?
It has nothing to do with your record, the crews you get. The crews are already set. It has nothing to do with that. I mean, and look, the consistency, you talk about consistency, that's a complaint by every team in the league about the officiating, consistency. And so, I mean, really, if it's your team, you feel like it's only happening to you, I promise you, I watch hours and hours of film every week. It happens to everybody. I don't like the inconsistency in the officiating.
Would you coach your long snapper if you were coached to kind of maybe move to his right or to his left to kind of try to draw the penalty?
They can't. That should have no bearing on it. It's where you line up. I mean, you can't launch. You can't stick your hand on somebody and launch over. But when you're lined up away from them and then the ball is snapped and you just move into the line of scrimmage, I mean, again, I will say this. I don't know how much more clear I can be. It's an ignorant call.
I'm with you.
Well, okay, one more now. Now that we won't see Mahomes with the Chiefs, what does Gardner Minshew bring to the table? A little familiarity there, a little bit. And does that hurt or help you that Mahomes is not playing, because you never know what you're going to get with a backup, especially a guy like Minshew, who's kind of a hot, cold type player?
Yeah, well, the Titans have seen Minshew before.
Mm-hmm,
you remember that.
Mm-hmm.
And the dude, that's the biggest mistake you can make, is thinking that guy's an empty chair.
Yeah.
Because he's going to come in and he's going to be spinning it all over the lot. That's why he's still in the league, because he is a dealer. Now, losing a guy like Mahomes, come on. I mean, that doesn't. But if you go into this thing, and I know that they're not, but I'm just saying, if you've got the idea that this is going to be any easier just because Minshew's in there, you better recalibrate your thinking.
Well, does it change how you approach it as a defensive coordinator? Because he's known for kind of more the short throws, but also can move around a little bit. I just didn't know how you start game planning. Do you go back and watch him at different times when you played against him or the team played against him? How do you go about that approach?
Well, the offense will stay the same. But here's the thing. He's an off-schedule guy, too. Mm-hmm. And some of Mahomes' most dangerous plays in his career have been off-schedule, right? Mm-hmm. So you're really basically you're defending the same concepts. It just depends on whether this guy can pull it off with the consistency that Mahomes used to pull it off.
All right. There you have it. Coach Mack giving us the Mack attack.
Coach, when it comes down to this Kansas City Chiefs team, They've kind of struggled in close games when last year they won a lot of those close games. They've struggled this year. What have you seen on film that maybe has led to those struggles for this Kansas City Chiefs team?
Well, it's personnel. It's their injuries. I mean, they've had injuries too. They've had injuries on the offensive line. You know, they've had in and out injuries. You know, defensively they've struggled at certain times, depending on who's healthy with the receivers. It's the same thing. If your top players aren't healthy, if you're fortunate enough to have your top players healthy for the consistent part of the year, then you've got a chance to be consistent. When you start mixing and matching and putting people in there that haven't played a lot, that's what's going on with them right now.
I continue to be impressed by Cedric Gray. Now, he went down with injury, and we'll see what his availability is this week. But when you look at Cedric Gray on the San Francisco versus the 49ers, what did you see that kind of stood out, and how big of a loss would that be for this Tennessee Titans defense to go up against the Kansas City Chiefs without Cedric Gray?
Well, he's a double-digit tackler. I mean, I really like his game. You talk about a guy that's improved, you know, week to week to week. But he went down with a concussion, so we all know how the concussion protocol is. So again, the number of injuries in that ball game anybody's injury is significant. If you're playing, your injury is significant to the team. But that'll hurt if he's not able to play, because he's been a highly productive player really all season.
It seems like the Tennessee Titans have had some success stopping the run against teams who usually have success with the run game. Speak to Tavondre Sweat and what he's been able to put on film these last few weeks, the further that he's removed from his injury issues earlier in the season.
Well, it makes a difference when he and Big Jeff are in there together. And Sebastian Joseph Day has played very, very well all year. All year. Yeah, and you got two linebackers behind the ball that have played very well. They're starting, when they've got their guys in there, their starters in there, they fit pretty well. They fit up. But when you start losing guys and guys start coming in and having to play different positions, that's when it gets a little rough. But I really like the way that they're, in the last 2 weeks they've been able to play the run defensively, and they've been able to run the football offensively. That's a good place to start on any week.
All right, that was Coach Mack for his weekly Mack Attack, brought to you by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. Coach Mack, enjoy your weekend.
Appreciate you guys. See you.
See ya. All right, coming up next, we'll talk more Tennessee Titans and maybe get into a little bit of University of Tennessee football news. Maybe there's a recruit that is not going to be a volunteer. We'll talk more about that. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone.
What day?
Smashville hockey. Around here, it can sound like a language of its own. But hey, if you can pronounce Demumbrian, then names like Yossi, Shea, Marchessault will roll right off the tongue. Nashville Predators, only in Smashville.
One of the largest sports books east of the Mississippi, Circa Sports Kentucky, is now open. Catch all your favorite games on an 80-foot screen with stadium-style seating and live VSiN broadcast daily. Circa Sports, now open at the Mint Gaming Hall, Kentucky Downs.
My dad and I used to golf together all the time, but when he hurt his back, it was over.
To have your son want to spend time with you is amazing. That's why my chronic back pain has been so heartbreaking. Surgery, fused bones, long recovery. No way, not for me. A friend recommended stem cells, so I gave Kellum Stem Cell Institute a call.
I'm glad you're out on the course.
Yeah, it's really good.
Call the Kellum Stem Cell Institute today. Swing still looks just okay, though.
Selling your home can be stressful, but it doesn't have to be. Get a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. There are no showings, no open houses, no stress. Work with the #1 real estate team in the U.S. and close with confidence. Go to markspain.com today.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by all Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is the number. From RockyTopInsider.com, Volunteers signee Legend Bay, great name, by the way, has reportedly requested his letter of release from Tennessee. Now, if you guys remember when he originally signed, there was the rumor that he was going to go to Ohio State, but his mom wants him to go to Tennessee. And now he's reportedly requesting his release. And based on new intel that Rivals.com Sam Spiegelman shared on an episode of The Inside Scoop with Josh Newberg on Sunday, the report suggests that Bay is actively pursuing an exit from Tennessee, which could lead to him signing with Ohio State.
No, the Ohio State.
Sorry, excuse me. The Legend Bay going to the Ohio
that
State.
Is hard, man. I wouldn't have had the cojones to name my kid Legend. Man.
He's a 5-star too, right?
Last I read, someone had put 4-star.
Really? There's a lot of different sites, so it could be a little different.
No,
I would assume he's a 5-star.
Name alone.
He should at least, I was about to say, he should at least, if he's a 4-star, get an extra star for the name.
Yeah, no doubt.
He should be if he's a 5-star, he should be a 6-star. 1 star for the name, at least, extra.
I feel bad for this kid, though, man.
Einstein Boys in the F&M Bank chat, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook Live says, Volunteers fans don't care about this guy. I would have to disagree on that. Now, I know that, if a guy doesn't want you, you shouldn't want him.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I mean, your team would be better, theoretically, with him than without him.
Yeah, but if, the kid was, he was under 18, so the mom has to make the decision once that was part of the issue, and he wanted to go to Ohio State and everything else. I think, Tennessee's doing the right thing to make sure they let him out of it. If he doesn't want to be here, we don't want you.
And they should do it that way. You don't want a guy that doesn't want to be here. And they've kind of proven that if you don't want to be here, we don't want you here either. Yeah. I mean, they have a good track record of actually backing that up. It says here, of course, for those that may not know the timeline, he originally committed to Tennessee over the summer, flipped his commitment to Ohio State on November 10th, but reflipped to Tennessee and signed with the Volunteers on signing day, December 3rd. And then there's Ohio State website, 247's Ohio State website, reported on December 4th that Bay wanted to sign with Ohio State, but was met with resistance from his mother, who wanted him at Tennessee. Since he was only 17 years old at the time of the signing, he needed his mother to sign off on that. But Bay, Legend Bay, will turn 18 on Christmas Eve. But it sounds like things may be turning back towards the Buckeyes early. So, I mean, I think if the reports are true and he does not want to play in Tennessee, I think the best thing for Tennessee, the University of Tennessee do, like we just said, is to let him go to Ohio State. It's going to be painful because he's probably going to be pretty good at Ohio State. But, I mean, again, you don't want people that don't want to be here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Well, I mean, it's not necessarily his fault either. He clearly, based on the reports, if the reports are true, like you said, he clearly made up his mind and wanted to go to Ohio State, and his mom has turned this into a bigger deal probably than it needs to be. So I don't think it's fair for fans to be mad at Legend Bay for wanting to go to school somewhere else.
Yeah, but that's the culture and climate we have built with the recruiting services and signing day. Yeah, they go after him. And social media, they live it. The fans don't care. They're going to go after them.
Listen to your mama.
Right? Yeah, mama knows best. So I don't know. This is going to be, I'm going to follow this kid and see how well he does, too, whether he stays or goes. But, yeah. Oh, man, that's tough for the kid, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's also kind of a weird situation to be put in by your parents, especially if you've been very vocal of wanting to go to Ohio State. And they're kind of making this decision for you. Again, we don't know really the whole situation, but that's just kind of how the information has been painted that we have received, is that his mom has kind of made this decision for him.
Well, and
I was going to say this. I thought this would stick once he signed, because of, I think, Hartline, the wide receiver coach, is leaving. I thought he would maybe been the lead recruiter guy, and he was like, oh, okay. Well,
because, you still got a top wide receiver coach here at Tennessee.
So I didn't know how that was going to
play out. They thought Chris Henry Jr. might even, go somewhere else. He ended up signing with the Buckeyes. But, let the kid make his decision. This is the one time, as far as sports goes, you don't get to decide where you go to high school most of the time. You don't get to decide who drafts you if you're able to make it to the NFL. The one decision you do have is where you play college sports at. Let the kid make that decision, because it's the one chance they get to do that.
Yeah. I like it. Yeah. If it doesn't work out, you could say it was his decision.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you probably get paid a lot of money either way, right?
Oh,
I mean,
you'd assume. I don't know. Maybe somebody paid the mom a little bit more money.
Maybe we got them.
Oh no, I was just joking. I have no idea.
But that could be true. Maybe it's something like that.
It used to be like that back in the day, in my time. They get paid the mama, and the mama influenced the call.
Maybe things haven't changed that much.
I don't know.
Maybe that's still
more.
The process. Yeah, the money's more, but the process may be the same. Let's go to John in Nashville. John, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
All right, good afternoon, guys. Listening to you talk, you'd think that this was one of the top receivers in the class, but in fact, it's the third-rated receiver in the class.
He's the third best in the country?
In the class, no. In the Tennessee's class.
Oh, in the Tennessee's class, not in the country. Okay.
Right. Right. With Tyreek King and Tristan Keys ahead of him, and all the young receivers that they have up there now, there's question how much you could play.
I wonder why Tennessee still wanted him then.
Well, I mean, you're always going to take receivers. He was a 3-star.
He was a
prior to signing with
3-star?
Tennessee, though. Mm-hmm.
And he I thought he's a 4-star, no?
Let's see here.
He was a 3-star prior to signing with Tennessee, or prior to committing to Tennessee.
Oh, wow. I thought
he's number 7 at his position in the country. Is what 247
Okay.
Sports is telling me right now.
What are the
The
two
number
guys?
7 says it's Tyreek King in 247 Sports right now. Actually,
I mean,
maybe he's the number 7 athlete.
Yeah,
maybe you're thinking he's the number 7 athlete.
That
doesn't have a position.
Gotcha. It just says POS 7, so that's all I'm basing that off of right here.
I understand being number 7 athlete.
Yeah.
That's a little different. He's recruited as a wide receiver, though.
Yeah, Tristan Keys is a 5-star athlete, wide receiver, and then I don't know what Joe Wyatt is.
But what
is
did they
Joe
rank?
Wyatt?
Joe White is the number 4th ranked athlete. Legend Bay is 7th right now.
Yeah, but I mean, like, what position does he play?
Safety and receiver.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, those guys
Tristan
are
Keys is number 1.
Okay,
at
gotcha.
wide receiver,
So that's why the
position
caller's
1,
saying that, yeah,
national number 10 overall.
Yeah. Well, they was both still top 10. I mean, all of them top 10. Never know.
Never know.
Who will be better at the college level?
That, and then listen, and to be fair to maybe Legend Bay as well, who has better NFL prospects that are Ohio State or University of Tennessee at wide receiver?
Yeah, but UT's, they still get some guys they produce, and maybe not as high level.
Right. Chris Brazel may be able to change that. I feel like built, and his game is a little bit different than the rest of them.
Hey.
But obviously Ohio State. I mean, you could list off like 5 or 6 Ohio State wide receivers are number 1 wide receivers for their team.
Any of them small like him though? This guy's like 5'10", right?
Yeah,
let's see. They have
Jackson Smith and Jigba was a little smaller, right?
They have
I don't know if he was 5'10", but like,
I mean, he didn't look small.
They have him listed at 5'10" and a half, 175.
And that's high school height. So I'm assuming he's 5'9".
You always be doing that to people. I mean,
that is true though. But I mean, they all fudge the numbers. Like,
yeah.
Go look at what they have Diego Pavia listed at Vanderbilt, and go look at the picture at the Heisman ceremony of all of them together. And because you said that he's a lot shorter.
Man, I don't know if he's 5'10".
Yeah,
I don't know if Diego's 5'10".
So maybe potentially more of a gadget guy in college. I don't know. Like, it's tough to.
Like, I was trying to figure out, like, okay, Ohio State typically they have a guy like him, so maybe that's why they.
Jackson Smith and Jigba is 6 foot.
And their guys,
they're built up.
And I feel like he's the smallest out of all the ones that came through.
Well, their NFL guys, like y'all are saying, are like they're kind of X or Z receivers. They're not working out of the slot as much. Cardinal Tate, I think, is more of a slot receiver.
You think so?
But he's longer. Like,
he is. Feet, like he will operate in both.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But like Marvin was outside, McLaurin was outside. Garrett Wilson kind of got moved around a little bit, but
it could be a guy. It could be he's a different type of player just based off his size, so they may kind of like that. I mean, some change of pace, but hey, man, you want to get as many of those guys in there because the cream of the crop rises, so you just don't know out of those top 10 guys at that position which one may rise and which one may just stay steady.
Yeah. All right, coming up next, we'll continue our discussion on University of Tennessee football. Maybe talk about some transfer quarterbacks. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone.
What do I do? Want to know about a place where European auto repair doesn't feel like European auto repair? Well, as Blaine Bishop would tell you that the moment you walk into Eurofix, you'll notice Eurofix is not your typical greasy garage and messy all over the place. Waiting rooms are clean, comfortable, and inviting. Service areas are spotless. Why? Because Eurofix cares about everything from how you are treated to how your vehicle is treated. And every repair comes with a rock-solid 3-year, 36,000-mile nationwide warranty on all repairs Eurofix performs, and at below dealer pricing. You don't have to put up with the dealer pricing or get ghosted when you're waiting for a call back. Man, I'm on pins and needles during that time. And Eurofix also fixes everything European. Plus, a rental car is available with every appointment. Locations in Nashville, Franklin, Belmead, and Murfreesboro, and Mount Juliet, and more to come. And all you have to do is just give them a call at 844-EUROFIX. That's right, 844-EUROFIX or myEurofix.com. That's myEurofix.com.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is the number. Do we have some? Do we have music for or a drop for Breaking Predators news?
Do we have Breaking Predators news?
Yeah, we do. Let's do Breaking Sports News, I guess, if we don't have it.
Breaking sports news on 104.5 The Zone.
I'll put breaking in quotation marks because we're probably an hour late to this news. Because I saw people in the chat talk about Nick Saban and the hockey team.
I thought they were joking.
And I thought they were just like, why would Nick Saban want to coach hockey? Like, where is this joke coming from? But apparently, legendary coach Nick Saban is joining the Predators ownership group. Mm-hmm. So Nick Saban is joining the Predators ownership group. You maybe need to call him a bandwagon Predators fan because they're in the midst of a long, pretty win streak here. But the Preds are a great organization with a fantastic brand, and we are excited to be part of the future success of the franchise. That is Nick Saban, a quote from Nick Saban.
I see you all giddy over there.
Hey, listen.
One step closer.
Like you know him personal.
We're one step closer, Blaine, to your plan of involving Nick Saban in the Titans organization somehow, some way.
Man, can you own part of the hockey in the NFL? You can.
Oh, I'm sure you can. Yeah. Okay. Because I mean, I know the Rooneys, not the Rooneys, the Johnsons. I think the Rooneys do too. Own stake in soccer, I think.
Oh yeah. Well, out of the country though, but yeah.
Yeah, but I think you could do both.
Yeah, I think the Falcons may,
and especially minority ownership, like he's got in both these situations. But we're one step closer. But that's what I'm really excited about.
Yeah,
I'm also excited that maybe I could run into Nick Saban, at a Predators game.
Does he still have the car lots and stuff? No.
I don't. I think he still has one over at the airport, right, or near the airport.
I don't see his name on there.
Someone from the Titans, staff, whoever needs to go find him at a Predators game, not introduce themselves as part of the Titans staff, and just say, "Hey, we'd love to give you a tour over at the facility. Just come by. We want you to check it out. Whatever." While he is there, do not let him go.
I'll just volunteer for that.
There you go.
Yeah, I just volunteer, but I got to get the A-OK from them.
Yeah.
Don't let him leave the facility. Give him whatever he wants. Make a nice room if you have to for him. Don't let him leave.
Saban's a fixer.
Yeah, so
He's
here's
still
what we got.
pissed off he didn't fix the Dolphins.
Yep. So here's what we got.
They could do some fixing right now.
We get Blaine and Nick Saban at a Predators game.
Yeah.
They'll put him up on the Jumbotron. Everybody will cheer and everything. And then, Blaine will just say, hey, old Nicky boy, let's go to the Tennessee Titans.
He knows pretty well. I played against him in college and the pros.
Yeah.
When he was at the Browns.
There we go.
I know those fans are giving they're giving you the itch again to get back in the game.
Yep. One step closer.
Yeah, I got to.
I'm not saying I want Nick Saban to coach the Titans, but to fix the Titans.
Yes, yeah.
That's fixed. It's a little different.
Maybe he's going to fix the Preds. I don't know what he knows about hockey. I mean, he may know. I know he a couple of years ago, or I don't know how long ago, he took some heat back in 2017 for wearing a Predators jersey.
Yeah, he's a fan of them.
Yeah, he's a.
They don't really have hockey in Alabama.
That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I would trust that he's going to learn everything he can about hockey. So I bet on that.
Well, hey, and he can give a speech whenever he wants to the team and get them motivated. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Congratulations to him, man.
And maybe, you know what, Zach? I'm going to twist what you said at the start with he's hopping on the bandwagon. Maybe they knew he was coming as part of the ownership group, and they're like, all right, we better start winning some games.
Better start winning some games.
They had a little pep in their step on that ice.
Pep in the skates or whatever.
Just guessing, man.
Apparently, he got hooked on hockey while keeping tabs on the Predators' success this past season. Now considers himself a bona fide fan. So he's now a hockey fanatic.
Love that.
He's a puckhead.
Love that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He's a puckhead.
Let him just fix all Nashville sports. Just let him do whatever he wants.
Well, he doesn't have to fix Vandy. So the only thing left is the Predators and the Titans.
But he could still help out with Vandy. It never hurts.
It never hurts. I'm sure. I wonder, because he does have a lot of Nashville ties. I wonder how much him and Clark Lee hang out and talk.
I don't know.
Never know.
Clark Lee picking his brain on some stuff.
Yeah.
Very valuable.
There you go. All right, coming up next, we'll talk a little bit about, because we got Adam Schefter at 2:30. We're going to take a little bit longer time with Adam Schefter. So coming up next, We're going to talk a little bit about the transfer quarterback options for the University of Tennessee.
Can we play this Joel Klatt audio?
Do you want to play the Joel Klatt audio instead?
Like in the next segment?
Okay, let's do that. Let's talk this Joel Klatt audio because it's got Ross all, in his feels and been out of shape. So let's talk about that when we come back. What Joel Klatt had to say about the college football playoffs and the NCAA March Madness tournament. This is cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone. Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by all Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is the number. We'll have Adam Schefter joining us at 2:30 p.m. today. All right. Okay, so Joe Klatt was on this Birmingham sports show called 777, and he was asked about the group of five being involved in the college football playoffs and whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. And then he kind of takes a left-hand turn into a
ditch?
Pretty much.
He doesn't want to go into.
Yeah, into a hot take about the March Madness basketball tournament. So here's it's a little bit of a lengthy clip. I tried to cut out some stuff that didn't really matter, but here's almost the full clip of the Joe Klatt.
How important is it for Tulane or James Madison to be competitive this weekend? Is it sort of the future of an auto bid for the G5 at stake for them to look the part this weekend?
I don't think that it matters. It would help in the sentiment, the public sentiment, but these things are going to be, it will be determined by finances and litigation. And the reason the group of five is included in this playoff is to avoid antitrust litigation. That's it, guys. We're not looking for a Cinderella. Nobody cares in football about James Madison or the equivalent of George Mason going. Didn't George Mason go to the Final Four or something like that? Nobody cares in football about that. We don't want Cinderellas. We want the best teams playing each other at the end. In fact, hot take. I mean, the hottest of all takes that I've ever had in my entire life. The NCAA basketball tournament is a joke. It's the dumbest tournament and the least fair tournament in all of sports. We go and we put teams at odd times on neutral sites in a one-game affair. That doesn't crown a true champion. We're not doing anything that tells us who's the best team over the course of the entire season. If anything, the NCAA basketball tournament should act exactly like the old World Cup, which we should have groups. They should all get guaranteed 3 games, and they should be played at the higher seeds arena so that those seeds are rewarded for a quality game. And that way we don't just get to see Kentucky one and done against George Mason or something like that. Well, that's stupid. That's stupid. Again, hottest of all takes, but that would make the NCAA basketball tournament far better. Neutral site, one and dones. What are we doing?
Yeah, you know who loves that, though, is CBS. I mean, it's great for CBS.
But that's a hot take. So back to the group of five. I think that in order to separate it out, the group of five will have to be incentivized somehow, and specifically from a financial perspective, to go play their own championship. I think that would be better for them anyways. But if that doesn't happen and they get cut out of the finances, they will sue and will wind up in court, and they'll be in the playoff moving forward.
Okay, so I mean, I get what he's trying to say as far as the college football playoffs part, but then he goes into, and he says this is the hottest of hot takes. And so he's bracing everybody for that. He's about to give the most unpopular opinion he'll probably ever have in his life. And Joe Klatt has a lot of unpopular opinions for a lot of people. But he says that nobody in college football cares about a Cinderella story. Kind of agree there. But he says that the Cinderella story, premise of a Cinderella story in the college basketball tournament is the dumbest thing in sports. The dumbest tournament. And I can't get behind that. I can get behind maybe 64 is too many teams.
Yeah.
But I can't get behind that part of it.
Yeah, there's never a part of me. I disagree with him wholeheartedly on that. 64, 68, playing games, sometimes a little messy for me too, especially with the rankings, and sometimes it's playing in you're the 12th seed or 8th seed. But we are all playing it all across the country, and he said that. So we're doing exactly what he wanted us to do.
Yeah.
So he said it was a hot take. He forewarned you, and then there it goes. And then guess what? We just made him super popular.
Yep. Unpopular, technically.
Or unpopular, but guess what?
He don't care either way.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, good or bad. When you're in this industry, good or bad, people are going to play it back and forth. So, yeah, I think he just said it for a hot take, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
because it really didn't.
The antitrust lawsuit and all that, now that made a lot of sense.
Yeah, you didn't really need to go into the college football or college basketball playoffs and the March Madness bracket to get your point across. Because the point is, we don't care about Cinderella teams in college football, and I agree. But it's also an entirely different sport where the difference in athletes is a little bit more prevalent, like the difference in scores. You can get your Cinderella team to upset a big team more often than not in the college basketball tournament, but oftentimes they still play pretty close, even if in a loss in most of these. So it's a little bit different in
basketball. Is just a different sport.
I mean,
You know, where in football, typically the best team wins. Now, if one of these mid-major type schools wins Tulane or James Madison or makes it even close,
then we have to maybe give a little bit more credence.
Yeah, they then are not going to have a huge case to kind of move on.
Yeah,
because every year is a new year in football, and if they don't plan to play them at their top level and respect them as opponents and go after them like they're playing, a highly ranked team, they could start off slow, and then all of a sudden that team starts believing. But ultimately, typically in football, the bigger, better team wins.
Yep.
So especially in the trenches. So that's always interesting. You can slow the game down and just run the football. Just imagine, Alabama playing Ball State. I mean, they just run the football.
Yeah.
I mean, why are we going to take any risk here? And we'll just keep driving down ball control. Next thing you know, the game is over and we won 28-0.
Ross, the floor is yours.
What did Denard Wilson say earlier today?
Stay in your lane.
Yeah, stay in your lane, Joel Klatt. Stay in that college. College football. All right, everybody's going to have opinions you disagree with no matter who you are. Stay in college football. There was no need to take that shot at college basketball, which, in my opinion, barely edging out the NFL playoffs, has the best postseason in all of sports. I think the first 2 days of March Madness, where there's 16 games, both those days, there's nothing that can beat it, right? And his point, too, about these teams, they got one-and-done games. Like, how are we able to see who's the best team? If you're a 1 seed and you lose to a 16 seed, you're clearly not the best team. So I don't know what he was trying to say there. Yeah. You don't ruin something that's perfect, in my opinion, like March Madness is. And for him to take a shot at March Madness and say, not that it's, it could be fixed, but that it's the worst postseason in all of sports. Come on, man. Come on.
There was another thing he said in there, too, as well, is I like to see, as far as March Madness and all that, is see the teams get to play at home. I don't know how the structure of those TV contracts are related to neutral site games.
Right.
But I think that would be pretty cool.
Nah, I love that neutral site, man.
Well, the reason why I say that is because they always have to zoom in on those first rounds, especially those gimme games, mostly because there's not a lot of people there. And so that's why I say that. The attendance isn't at a ultra high level. So that's, that's why I was saying that, but it's just being picky.
When he mentioned the pools, too, like you hear him mention the pools, they should get like World Cup groupings.
Oh, yeah, like 3 games or whatever. That's
what are
too
you
complicated.
talking about?
Too complicated.
And we got pools. We got the Sweet 16, the Elite 8, the Final 4, and the National Championship.
Well, he's
There's
wanting every team to play like 3 times or whatever. My thing, because I do agree with you, like the 1 versus 16, if the 1 seed loses 16, that means they weren't the best team that day. And if you're a 1 seed, you're expected to be on your P's and Q's, expected to be in the game, in the moment, the best team. And I get that, like, okay, well, there's a big upset. But oftentimes when we see that upset, they're not out the second round. They may be out Sweet 16 or Elite 8, that team that upset them. But, like, they still advance pretty far. They upset multiple teams typically in the March Madness bracket. So I don't know. Like, I just don't agree with that part either, is that, trying to give an advantage to the number 1 seed. They're the number 1 seed and typically playing like, Norfolk State Community College or something like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a reason they're the number 1 seed. They're supposed to win that 16 seed game. They already got it easy.
Do you think there's any way that college football, outside of the Division I, top 4 conferences, that they can then be somewhat like FCS and then attach it to bowls? That way they then start, have the rankings correct, and they don't have to put Tulane or somebody into the rankings, and then they already have their playoff system kind of. You can follow them all.
Yeah, like FCS. That, like a group of 5 playoff base.
Yeah.
That's what I think they need.
Yeah, that to me, if not, They
Like
need
an
to branch
NIT.
off.
You need an NIT for college football playoff.
Well, and it's like, if you win the Group of 5 national championship, that's awesome.
Yeah.
There's no shame in that at all, just because it's a different playoff.
All right, coming up next,
More money.
We'll be talking to Adam Schefter, all things Tennessee Titans coaching search and what's next for them, as well as maybe a little bit of draft talk about how the league views these quarterbacks. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone. Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Door. And it is my privilege to introduce our next guest. He's the people's insider and the hardest working person in sports, Adam Schefter. Adam, greatly appreciate you jumping on today's show. Start off by telling everyone the work you're doing to raise awareness on type 1 diabetes.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me, and I appreciate you asking. Obviously, it's an important point. We're at the point of the year where people are starting to think about their New Year's resolutions, how they can prioritize their health this year, which makes it a great time to educate people about the importance of early detection for type 1 diabetes. Essentially, my wife, Shari, she is a type 1 diabetic. I've seen what it's like for her on a daily basis to go through everything that she does in a given day. It's why I've partnered with Sanofi to have awareness around the importance of screening for type 1 diabetes, where basically it can't be prevented, but it can be prepared for. And screening gives people valuable time to prepare. And it's important for people to make a plan. If they have any interest, I'd hope they could go visit the website, screen4type1.com. That's screen4type1.com to learn more about type 1 diabetes. Just talk to your doctor about it. Tell them you want to be screened. Pretty simple.
I have to know, do you have a set time or period where you just put down the phone and put it on silent? Do you put it on silent at least to get some sleep, or does it always vibrating and ringing no matter what?
And how many phones, by the way, Adam?
2 phones, always 2 phones. One's next to me at bed. And inevitably, like I tell people, I do sleep, but it's like interrupted. You know, I sleep a couple hours, I wake up, I check the phone. Honestly, you're not getting too many texts in the middle of the night. Every now and then it happens. But it's not something that's incredibly disruptive to your sleep on a regular basis. I'm a normal guy like everybody else, I think.
You think. So what really kind of went down behind the scenes with the decision to fire Brian Callahan? Is it just as simple as wins and losses and lack of Ward's development, or was there a little something more?
You know, I think they actually wanted to keep him, to be perfectly frank. I think that they were hoping to ride out the season with him. And I think it got to the point where eventually the owner wanted to make a change. And when the owner wants to make a change, it's time to move on. And I think basically that's what happened. It's her team. She gets to call the shots. And she decided that they would be better off moving on. I think, honestly, like they were going to go that direction at some point in time. It just happened sooner rather than later. He was a great offensive coordinator. And I think he's a coach who's respected and well-liked around the league, but not every great coordinator becomes an effective head coach. We've seen it time and time again. Just because you're great at calling an offense or working with quarterbacks doesn't ensure that you're going to succeed as a head coach. He's grown up all around it. You know, I think he knew just what he was getting into. It's just unfortunate for everybody that it didn't work out.
So a lot of turnover here in Nashville with this Tennessee Titans team. How is this job opening viewed with all this turnover, but with a number 1 overall pick in quarterback Cam Ward?
Well, first of all, I think every head coach opening is always desirable because there are only 32 of them. So people want to be head coaches, period. Now, again, if you've got a quarterback who's the former number 1 pick who a lot of people believe in, I think it makes it that much more attractive. I think that Cam Ward has flashed at times, and I think that there's a belief in him. I think we're still waiting to see it on a regular basis, and it's part of the supporting cast around him, which is substandard and not ideally great. But it's up to that team to build up that roster to make sure that Cam Ward turns into the type of quarterback that they think he can be.
We're talking all things Tennessee Titans with Adam Schefter of ESPN.
Well, Adam, thanks for coming on. This is Blaine here. Rookie quarterback Cam Ward, up and down season so far, naturally, with the record that it is. But how do evaluators look at how he's developing this season?
Well, again, I think that people recognize talent in him. And I don't know whether, like, at times you look at him, you're like, oh, he looks great.
Yes.
You can see the talent. But there are other times you're like, boy, but I just don't know how much of it is the roster around him. I guess I would ask you, Blaine, from your eyes.
Yeah.
You played in the league a long time. You know what these guys are like. Have you been suitably impressed with him or not?
Absolutely, I have, yeah. I just want him to be a little more consistent, but that's hard to get when you're a rookie quarterback. Especially
and
with the talent
a
around
rookie
him.
quarterback with a roster that's not exactly loaded with talent.
There you have it. Now, I'm going to ask you about another quarterback outside of the Titans. That is, we saw the great one, Mahomes, tears ACL, LCL, whatever it may be. But would you rule out that the Chiefs draft a quarterback in the first round because he may be out all of next season?
No, he's not going to be out all of next season, and I would not expect him to draft.
I was wondering if we had some breaking news there, man.
In the first round. No, in fact, I feel more comfortable in predicting that he'll be back for the opening game than he would be missing the season. Like, I think he'll be back for the opener. The opening weekend next year. Hold on one second. I'll tell you right now. I have it in my phone. I was looking at it today. Opening weekend next year is Sunday, September 13th. He had surgery on Monday, December 15th. Mm-hmm. It is considered to be a 9-month recovery. 9 months from Monday, December 15th is Tuesday, September 15th, 2 days after the regular season opens. I would not put it past a guy who's played with a high ankle sprain, who's been out there with a dislocated kneecap, to spend 9 months recovering and being back out there opening day. Do I think he's going to be 100% next year? Doesn't sound that way. Sounds like it's going to be a process. But to think that he's going to miss opening day, let me know when that happens, because that's not what I'm expecting right now. But a lot will depend on how he rehabs for the next 9 months.
No doubt. So what's been your biggest surprise, Adam Schefter, on with us this season? I don't kind of the Chiefs not making the playoffs, or I don't know, Drake May been a MVP candidate. I mean, man, you can go all over the place. But, man, what do you think?
Well, I think it's all those things that you're talking about. Who would have thought that the Denver Broncos would be the number 1 seed in the AFC right now, that the Los Angeles Rams would be the number 1 seed, that the Chiefs would be eliminated, that Phillip Rivers would be trying to lead the Colts to a playoff game. Like, I mean, you could pick a dozen storylines, that the Patriots would be in first place in the AFC East, that the Bengals already would be eliminated with Joe Burrow, that the Cowboys would be out essentially with 3 weeks to go. Seattle would be one of the best teams in football. Houston would be coming on again. There are enough surprises there for you, Blaine?
Oh, yeah, there you have it. I guess I have to ask you then, what is the biggest breaking news story you've ever had?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think about it like that. I've been in the business for 35 years, and there's news every single day. Every single day. So I'm
well, this season, maybe. You get some.
I don't know. Again, there's stuff every day.
Okay.
Every day. So whatever comes along, I'm happy. The biggest story is the next story.
Oh,
always.
Okay. Well, I know this story. I have to ask you this before I pass it over to my partner here. My wife knows you love doodles, and we have a doodle.
Wow.
Yes.
She says that I love doing it. How did your wife know that?
I don't know. How do you know that? So, yeah. So she told me to ask you, how do you go about picking doodles as your dogs? Because we have a doodle and we love it, and it's been the best dog we've had. We've had multiple different kind of style dogs.
We currently have 4 Labradoodles.
Yeah, we do. We
and
have one Labradoodle.
we lost one of our Labradoodles within this past year, which we're still not over. The great Benny, he's with us every day in our minds, in our hearts. We've lost 2 other Labradoodles, Riley and Maggie. We have 4 of them. 2 of them are not in good shape at all right now. One of them is 19. She's lost her hearing, lost her eyesight. She's kind of blind, and honestly, it's just helping her every single day. And then we have a 16-year-old Labradoodle who's lost the use of her back legs. We have to carry her out to the bathroom every day. Yeah. I tell people all the time, and my wife is the head of it, but we're running a doggy daycare assisted living facility. and you say, how do we get to Labradoodles? The same way we got to, the 5 dogs that we got. People are like, how do you get 5? Yeah. Very simple. I wanted 1. My wife wanted 5, so we compromised. We got 5.
There you have it.
There you
Adam
go.
Schefter, yeah.
The Titans get a head start on their coaching search because of firing Brian Callahan so early in the season. How much do you think the prior relationships that Mike Bergonzi and Chad Brinker have had will factor into the head coach hiring process?
Of course, they factor into everything that everybody does in every line of work. Like the people you know, the people you trust, the people you believe in, the people you talk to. So, of course, that's a part of it. That's definitely a part of it. And they'll lean on those people, and they'll default to some of those people as candidates. Of course, like, do I think Matt Nagy would be a candidate? I'd be surprised if he weren't, right? So it's just part of it. To me, it's just natural. Everybody leans on who they know and like.
Traditionally, we know teams like to move away from what didn't work when they go from head coach to head coach. In that sense, do you get that feeling from the Titans that they're likely not to go with the first-time head coach who's also a first-time play caller, or is the search wide open?
Well, I think it could be both. I think you could have both things be true. I think that it is wide open, but I think in a perfect world, they'd like to get somebody that has some experience, that's done it before, that understands how the business works and what the chair is like when you have a head coach's chair. So now maybe they'll meet somebody that just blows them away, that's never been a head coach. That's certainly possible. But I think their fallback position would be to fall back to somebody that they know has done the job before and understands everything that it takes.
Who are some of the under-the-radar candidates that Titans fans should become more familiar with in this coaching cycle?
You know what? I had somebody ask me the other day for head coaching candidates. They were putting together. Dan Graziano asked me, and he's like, who are the names? I said, well, there's a lot of names, but some of the names: Chris Shula, Rams defensive coordinator; Jeff Hafley, Packers defensive coordinator; Vance Joseph, Broncos defensive coordinator; Matt Nagy, Chiefs offensive coordinator; Anthony Weaver, Dolphins defense coordinator; Joe Brady, Bills offensive coordinator; Clint Kubiak, Seahawks offensive coordinator; Nate Shieldhouse, he's an assistant with the Rams. Those are some names. I think there'll be others. If Kevin Stefanski loses his job in Cleveland, that would be one to watch. Anybody that loses their job as a current head coach would be interesting. Those are some names for you to kick around.
What's the league-wide feeling on a coach like Davis Webb? I've heard his name been mentioned numerous times, not just to the Tennessee Titans as a possibility, but for other possibilities. But he's only been coaching for 3 seasons, including this one. Is there a chance he makes the jump to head coach, or is the next steps play calling offensive coordinator, maybe on a different team?
Oh, I think there are never absolutes in this league. Again, could he be a head coach? Yes. Could he make that jump? Yes. Do I think he will? Probably not, but maybe somebody meets him and is so impressed that he will. I never would say no or yes, or that something is absolute. There are layers to these things. I think he will eventually be a head coach. Will he make the jump straight from quarterback coach to head coach? That would be rare and unusual, but Sean McVay once went from tight end coach to head coach. So these things do happen at times, but again, if I had to bet, I would say no. He's probably going to be moving up the chain at a rapid pace to where eventually he does become a head coach.
We're talking to ESPN insider Adam Schefter.
Well, Adam, I made a bold prediction that Josh Allen would end the MVP of the league. If you wanted to make a guess today, who do you think is going to win the MVP?
I think that the guys that you're talking about right now would be Matthew Stafford, Drake May, and I do think that in one half last week, Josh Allen got in the race. One half, because all you had to do is watch that game for one half to know that there's nobody in the league that's more dangerous, more talented, more potent than Josh Allen. So if somehow the Bills finish strong here, I won't be surprised if he wins a second straight MVP. But if I was handicapping it today, I think I would make Matthew Stafford the favorite. But I also know that these things shift week to week.
At
various points this season, we thought Jonathan Taylor would win it. Then we thought maybe Baker Mayfield. Then we thought maybe Drake May. Then we thought Matthew Stafford. Now here comes Josh Allen. And it really is who has momentum at the end.
Naturally, Adam Schefter is breaking news. But if you weren't breaking news, what would you be doing in life outside of what you've been doing your entire career?
I have zero skills, Blaine. I wouldn't even know where to start. So thank God I do this for a living. Thank God ESPN employs me because I would be lost without it.
All right. Make your prediction right now. Who do you think the Tennessee Titans, not asking for any kind of sourced information, just a prediction on who you think the Tennessee Titans' next head coach will be?
I wouldn't do that because when I predict something, then all of a sudden it's a headline. That'd be that this guy's going to be the coach, and then if my prediction's wrong, then I'm wrong, and I'm not in the prediction business. I'm in the news gathering business, so I'm not going to predict. But I'm giving you some names, and we'll see what direction they go.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this then: Matt Nagy, Mike McCarthy. Their tenures at their previous stops kind of ended in weird ways. Matt Nagy with Chicago and Mike McCarthy in Dallas. I mean, what do you know of those candidates and what they may, at least specifically Matt Nagy, maybe what they learned from their time in Chicago?
Well, I think every coach is better for what they've been through in the past. I mean, some of the great coaches have been head coaches elsewhere before they went on to great things in other places. Bill Belichick was a head coach in Cleveland before he became a head coach in New England. Mike Shanahan was a head coach with the Raiders before he became a head coach with the Broncos. And I think the great coaches learn from their previous stops and take what they learn and apply it to the new jobs and grow and learn from it. So if it's one of those guys, and again, I think the Titans in a perfect world would love to hire an experienced head coach, then you'd like to hope and think that that particular coach will be better for it and better prepared the next time around.
All right. Oh, go ahead.
And before we let you go, tell us why you're advocating for T1D, naturally diabetes, and before we let you off. Thank you very much.
Basically, my job is information. So I just want people to have as much information as they can, particularly with something as important as their health. That's why I'm asking them to, when they go to their doctor, ask to be screened for type 1 diabetes. Obviously, health is critical. Being prepared is critical. And you can go to screenfortype1.com to learn more about type 1 diabetes. But talk to your doctor about it and tell him you want to be screened.
Screen1type1.com. This is Adam Schefter, the hardest working man in sports. We appreciate your time, Adam.
Appreciate it, Adam.
Thanks for having me today, guys. I appreciate it. Happy New Year.
No problem. Happy New Year to you as well.
Take care.
Okay, so there you have it. He is talking like the Tennessee Titans are leaning into experience, and that's what we heard when this whole shebang kicked off, that the Tennessee Titans would be leaning into someone with experience. And again, that seems to be the common thread. I know that recently,
but let's open it, but let's lean into that. And if someone wows us, with not a lot of experience, maybe we go that route. But I would see that be the smart decision, at least where we're at now.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun to get excited about a Davis Webb. It's fun to get excited maybe about Jesse Minter, Chris Shula, and maybe those guys can wow you.
Marcus Freeman?
Maybe a Marcus Freeman. Maybe these guys can wow you, but I think they're going to turn to old reliable. The question I have for you, Blaine, is playing it safe the right move?
That's the tough one there, man, because everybody wants us to feel comfy and all nice and cozy. We know we're at least going to get this. You know what you get. Or do you roll the dice?
Yeah, because that's the thing for me is man. I mean, playing it safe sounds good, right? Because, you know what you're getting. There's a comfortability in that. They've obviously worked with maybe a Mike McCarthy or Matt Nagy, not to rule out a Jim Schwartz or anybody that gets fired.
Arthur
but
Smith,
those are the kind of typical names you would connect with these, and relationships do matter. But sometimes you got to wonder, is that the right move? It may be the right move at the right time for right now, right? Because you're wanting something established in your locker room for your team. And they are guys who have at least had experience coming in to establish something. And I know there's a lot of people that are out on Mike McCarthy because he's a quote-unquote choker in the playoffs.
Oh, okay. We just want to get to the playoffs then.
Yeah, I mean, he still has been to the playoffs, I think 12 times out of his 15-year career.
Oh, really?
How many times have the Tennessee Titans made the playoffs in the last 15 years? Oh, my. So, and there's only one team that can win it. So is every coach that doesn't win the Super Bowl a choker? You tell me you wouldn't want Sean Payton You wouldn't want Mike Tomlin?
We got to get to the choker level first. Let's get there.
I don't even know you can call him a choker.
15 years?
I believe that's the correct stat.
And I don't care when he lost. He went 12 times out of 15.
I believe
Are
so.
we sure about this, Ross?
It's got to be close because I think the only times he missed in Green Bay is if like Rodgers had a season-ending injury or something.
Oh, really?
Okay, so he's been in the league 18 years.
But as the head coach.
So he's...
Man, if that's a stat, man, he needs to just drop that and like mic drop and just walk out.
12 out of 18 seasons. 12 out of 18.
12 out of 18, okay.
Yeah.
Still, though.
But still,
that's
I mean, 12 out of 18 is pretty good.
Well, like you guys both said, we're at a point with this franchise.
66.7% he's made the playoffs.
We're at a point with this franchise where, and the players have said it lately, the culture is not there. And so when you go with a young guy, you're kind of banking on them to be able to bring in a culture that they haven't had experience in doing yet. Mm-hmm. And with the older guy, more experienced guy who's done it before, they know what it takes to build that new culture. Now, do you have to hire him just because of that? No. But it's a big thing that, goes along with our current situation right now.
Yeah, and those are things we can't get. Like, has anybody on the staff or on the team played with McCarthy? I thought it was. Is somebody?
Okay, played with McCarthy would be Xavier Woods is the first one that popped off in my head.
I would be asking questions like if I'm Berganzi and those guys at practice, just offset, on a passing.
And Bones Fossil has coached with him. He's on his staff.
That's who I definitely would be having a conversation
because,
with.
Bones Fossil...
In Green Bay, yeah.
Yeah.
And Dallas, right? Dallas
it was Dallas, I know for sure.
Okay.
But because he had been that's where he came from, obviously, was Dallas, but he's been special teams coordinator in Dallas the full extent of Mike McCarthy's career there. So fantastic working relationship. And again, I ask you, or when I say you, I ask the people.
Everybody, the people call in.
The people. Like, what's so bad about making the playoffs? At least you're in the dance.
You're in the dance, man. We got to take some steps, and that's the first step.
Yeah.
That's right when that friggin' stadium be open, it'd be rocking.
Because everybody would want a Sean Payton or I would assume a Mike Tomlin or a Harbaugh, a John Harbaugh, or even a Jim Harbaugh. Like you would crawl over broken glass for those guys.
We ain't getting no Harbaugh.
But not a Mike McCarthy. And again, I'm not saying that he's my top choice, but like, guys, you could do a hell of a we did a hell of a lot worse than Mike McCarthy. We took the dice, on an up and coming coordinator. And it didn't work out. So, like we've been talking about, typically you go in the opposite direction. But that's not always the case, but most of the time. Dallas Cowboys just got eliminated from the playoffs, by the way.
Mm-hmm. And you know what McCarthy's doing? Sitting up
He's
there
like, I told you.
Yeah.
Of course, they didn't.
And did they go with a first-time head coach?
Yeah, they did. They went with a first-time head coach.
Don't get on my boy Shotty now.
Well, I was going to say they hired.
I like Shotty.
You know what I think?
They hired the Jason Garrett of Brian Schottenheimer. So Brian Callahan's,
right?
Yeah.
Well, and we're not a Cowboy show, so we don't need to talk about it. But like their problems rely on one side of the ball, and it's not the side that Schottenheimer deals with as much. And they hired as their DC Matt Eberflus.
All right, real quick, let's go to Derek to close this out. Derek, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Hey, guys, just real quick. I hear a lot of talk, big market, small market. I just want to know what that actually means for Tennessee Titans. Are we only allowed to, or not necessarily allowed, but can we only go after so many people because we're considered small market? And what's the difference? Has the Houston Oilers always been small market? Will we ever be big market? Close with that, guys. Have a great weekend.
Hey, real quick, Derek. What do you mean? What people are they trying to get? Free agents or like what are you talking about?
I just hear a lot of we're a small market. This is a big market. And obviously, Dallas, Pittsburgh, places like that. I can see why they call that a big market. But this day and age, I'm assuming that we're allowed to pay the same amount of money as everybody. Is that even a thing anymore? Big market, small market, they're not going to come to... Nashville's huge. Been here my whole life. We went from a little bitty town to a big town. Does that make a big market? The amount of wins, how long you've been in the city? What's the difference on how you're able to get necessarily players and coaches?
Gotcha, Derek. Well, small market just means relatively to the other people in your team or in your league. This is a small market team. Some of that has to do with only being in Nashville for some. It's still a young fan base here in Nashville. You're growing. Your market share on TVs, sales, all that kind of
I
stuff.
thought it was the size of the state.
Yeah,
really, to be honest, that's what it
I think it's kind of just entertainment value with that stuff too. Like
and
obviously,
Houston was a big market, by the way.
Right. So this is considered a small market team for many reasons, but I don't think that it affects your free agency, your head coaching search. The Tennessee Titans just hired the most sought after general manager candidate, Mike Bergonzi, and everybody thought he would never choose the Tennessee Titans. Why would he ever want to come to the Tennessee Titans? And he chose to come to the Tennessee Titans. And so I don't think in the big sense of turning this team around or attracting head coaching candidates or attracting general manager candidates, whatever, free agents, whatever you want to put in that bucket, being a small market team doesn't matter. Money matters. And you can pay. Now, she's not the most cash-rich owner out of all the owners. Right. But
once you're a billionaire, you're in the club.
Yeah, you're in the club.
Well, and like once, for the people that would be looking to come here, the prospective coaches, free agents, whatever, like the market is one of the last things you would look at. There's way many other factors that you would look at.
Then
before
players want to look at, you get, state income tax and all those benefits. So, yeah, I think it's just
small market team is typically
why we don't have a Super
related.
Bowl, and then as the city is growing, it's becoming a market that a lot of people are familiar and a lot of people moving here too.
Yeah. All right, that will do it for us. Yeah. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone. 3HL's up next, and in the meantime,
and in between time,
peace.